UFC 300 was the greatest fucking card, probably of all time, and it's going to be very tough to top, if I'm being honest with you. From the start, we had Figgy versus Cody. Cody didn't get knocked out this time, let's be honest. Hey, that's a good plus. Did get submitted, though, in the second round. Is what it is. Then Bobby against Jim Miller. Bobby beat the fuck out of Jim fucking Miller. And I'm sorry, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. But Bobby looked so good against Jim. Oh my goodness. He cooked Jim. Jim's face was fucked up after that fight. The jab really cooked him. His eye was split open. What a great bout. A lot of people, like, I'm typed to watch the early prelims, and the main card as much as I possibly can, unless I'm busy. But this card, from the opening bout, Figgy versus Cody, that could easily be a fucking main event on a Friday fight night or some shit. But then Jessica Andrade versus Mariana Rodriguez, like, I'm not going to lie, I'm not crazy on women's MMA. I love a couple bouts. Some of them are interesting, but majority, the skill level is just not there yet. They're still early in their infancy and doesn't really do it for me. But this one was a good bout. Jessica really took it to her, and Mariana didn't win, in my opinion. I know that was a little controversial. It was a split decision. People said Mariana could have won. Jessica could have won. I think Jessica definitely did win. It took it to her, but is what it is. Then we got Renato Money Moicano, who fucking had the greatest promo after his fight to end the early prelims. He said he cannot lose. He's got to make his run at the belt. And he spit the greatest fucking promo that I've seen in a long time, dude. I'm not going to lie. He cooked. And Jalen with the walk-off KO. Not really, because then Moicano got his ass. It was a crazy bout, man. I hope, and I do believe that Dana said he was going to take care of everyone, even though Max got $600K, and well-deserved. We are going to get into that in just a minute. That fight was the people's main event. Diego Lopez cooked Sadiq Youssef, and I cannot lie. I'm not saying that we didn't see that coming. In terms of, like, Diego couldn't do that. He definitely could. But, like, to do that as quick as he did, to walk through Youssef, who was no slouch. Very impressive, man. He's going to be... We're going to see if he's going to get that rematch with Mavsar and see if he can get his first loss in that column there and try and get a bout with Ilia Topuria at 45. Definitely a player in the division. Then Kayla Harrison. A lot of people were like, yo, I put so much money on Holly Holm, and then she went out there and clinched with a judo specialist. Why the fuck did she do that? I don't know. But Kayla Harrison cooked her ass after. Even though Holly did reverse her, I will give her that. Holly didn't just, like, do nothing, you know what I mean? But why are you going to go right into her specialty? You know, play on the outside, do what you're good at, is what it is. Kayla got the submission in the second. Then Aljamain Sterling, a lot of people said it was probably the most boring fight on the card. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't think it was that boring. I think we actually saw Aljamain's best performance on the feet. Personally, I do believe that. Now, don't get me wrong, Aljamain, we got to see some submission attempts, dude. Once you start the wrestling, we got to get some action. We got to see some progression. I understand, big dude, bigger division, tough. You know, it's not necessarily easy to do. But you gotta progress. Don't hold people, man. We don't like that shit. But you did look really, really good on the feet. Probably your best yet, in my opinion. I think you pieced them up pretty well. And then you were able to level change, and you timed up some really, really good takedowns that Calvin just was not ready for. So, which you'd think he might be, because a couple years out of the division hadn't really fought. So, I don't know. You'd think that he'd take those precautions, but is what it is. Aljamain wins by decision. Then the main event for the prelims, Yuri versus Rakic. It was a great fucking bout. And Yuri comes out on top. They were going back and forth. Rakic being a sniper. He's 6'4", Yuri's 6'3". Yuri had a little bit of the reach on him, oddly enough, even though he's a little shorter. But, dude, Rakic was staying to this game plan, sticking to it, and he looked good. He was a sniper out there, and Yuri just ended up catching him and getting to him. Yuri with the in and out, always having his hands low and always bringing him up so his opponent can't see his strikes. I believe he won fight of the night or performance of the night. I'm not exactly sure, but I do believe that Yuri did get a bonus. Then called out the winner of the main event, which we will get to because a lot of people are shitting on Jamal Hill. Is what it is, man. If you're going to say and talk the talk, you got to walk the walk after, depending on the result. Clearly did not go his way, but is what it is. I still do not count him out. And then Bo Nickel gets a submission in the second round against Cody Brundage, who was the first person to be able to extend him right into the second round, being able to get a little bit more experience under his belt. Now, don't get me wrong, Bo 6-0. Does he have the accolades? Does he have the experience? Accolades, yes. Experience, no, in this space. But going against Cody, I thought that was a great matchup for him, only because first wrestler that he matched up with. Great to see what happens. Is he just going to continuously try to shoot on people? Is someone going to time his shot just like Jorge did with Ben Askren? I don't know. Kind of putting that out there. It kind of seemed like someone might try to time that, depending on if he just gets a little panicky and goes straight to the shooting for somebody's leg. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But he is still 6-0, and he's right. If you are lucky enough to get that call to face him, you better pick up and sign that contract, because taking his first loss or giving him his first loss is going to be great for your fucking career. So if Cody won here 11-5 with a Bo Nickel win, bro, a lot of people remember who the fuck his name is now after that, especially at 300. But is what it is. He didn't get it done. Maybe the next guy can, but maybe not, man. Maybe Bo's the real deal. I do still like how he looks. I think coming from a wrestling background, he does look pretty fluid on his feet, and I do have to give him that. Give him his props. But just make sure you can't get timed when you go for those takedowns. You got to be able to level change and do it fluid and not just be predictable like some of them were. Almost like a panic shoot. Then Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. And I can't lie, it is what it is. A lot of people are sad online because Charles took the loss. And Arman did win. Ground and pound with those elbows in tight, especially on top and in the clinch, really secured him the win, I think. If Charles could have gotten that guillotine in the first round, it would have been fucking amazing. Or even the triangle on top at the end of the fifth or third. Sorry, I wish it went to fifth, but at the end of the third. But if it went to 5, I don't know. Charles could win that, only because he potentially had him in a couple submissions a couple times. And the possibilities, like I think he had like a head triangle and an arm bar, like at the end of round 3 or 4 or 2. Sorry, I keep doing that. At the end of round 2. But like, imagine if that was on, or imagine if his pants didn't come out on the guillotine in the first round. I mean, at the end of every single fucking round, I believe he had a possible submission. So is what it is, or not at the end, but in each round. But is what it is. Arman comes out. He was apparently offered the Islam fight in a couple months at 302, but he declined, and then they gave it to Poirier. So I will talk about that because I did a video talking about how this is going to affect Dustin getting a title shot, whether Charles does, whomever, it doesn't matter. But now we know the results, and now we know what's to come. Dustin and Islam at 302. And then Conor even got announced finally at the end of June against Michael Chandler at 170. So that'll be interesting to talk about as well. Then the people's main event, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. The last and final second, Max Holloway knocks him clean face first on the canvas and folds him like a lawn chair. It was absolutely insane. I wish I recorded my reaction. It was so fucking late watching this card. It went to like 2 in the morning over here in the East Coast time. I can only imagine anywhere else, but I mean, shit, the West Coast was good because it happened at T-Mobile Arena. But regardless, this knockout was absolutely absurd. If you have not seen it, go check it out. It's been on every place social media-wise. If you're watching this video, I guarantee you probably already seen it. But regardless, right here, meet me in the center. And then to do that, oh my God, Max is a bad fucking dude. And then secured a possible 145 or 155 title shot, depending on what the fuck he wants, or even a Conor shot because of the BMF title, or even whomever else. Like, dude, Max Holloway, always been a major fan of his. Had him winning one of the Volk fights as well. I don't think he lost 3. But, like, bro, absurd. Bad motherfucker. Baddest dude. Baddest dad. DC go back and forth. But Wei Li gets the fucking decision win over Yan. I'm not going to try to pronounce these last names. I know Zhang, but Zhaonan, I really don't know, to be honest with you, and I don't want to mispronounce these and be disrespectful. But Wei Li could have won with the rear naked choke in the first if you didn't see. Yan literally goes out at the end of the first round when the bell rings, and she throws her off of her. And then she comes to and gets to her feet as the ref helps her up slightly. And then the fight continues. Absolutely absurd that there was a possibility that this fight could have been ended, and it wasn't. And here we are now. Like, what the fuck? And then it ends in a decision loss. Bro, she definitely should have fucking lost right there. But is what it is. She gets back to her feet, and we get the story and the legend. But speaking of fucking legends, okay? Alex Pereira's legend has been growing. I don't understand this, how he got the black belt for knocking somebody out, but now he's got a black belt because Glover gave it to him. Whatever, however you want to give it to him, that's fine. I just don't think by knockout is understandable because it's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But regardless, black belt, 2-division Glory kickboxing champion, 2-division UFC champion, bad fucking dude. And the way he's like, hold on, Jama, and then knocks Hill the fuck out after the groin shot there. Dude, there's an aura. There's a couple, like, I know that it's not necessarily the number one for fan favorites in terms of a non-English speaking fighter, but when you have an Alex Pereira, a Charles Oliveira, someone with that aura, it doesn't fucking matter what they speak. They put on a great fucking bout for us, and we respect them, and we're fans. Alex has absolutely came onto the scene and dominated, and Jamal is what it is. I am still a fan. I did not count you out in this. The only question mark that I had was your potential footwork, only because of Alex's clean style and his experience in kickboxing. Not saying that you're not, because I know that you are, but we can't lie. Alex comes from that long line of kickboxing history. So he's got that fucking down pat experience that it's so difficult to get. It's so difficult to get. And to be able to do what he does as clean as he does, come on, dude. Like, I mean, I knew that this fucking main event was going to be great. But to go as quick as it did, I did not expect that. Alex breaking Francis Ngannou's record, hitting the, whatever the measurement is. Bro, insane, dude. Insane. Well, let me know what you think about UFC 300, or let me know what you thought about UFC 300 and the matchups that happened and the matchups to come. I'm going to make a video on that. I'm going to also make a video on PF Tour. Yeah, PFL Tour. That's what Dana White's been calling it. No, but PFL 2's card was actually pretty fucking good, and I do want to talk about that, but in another video. Clearly had to get this off. The Max Holloway 600K bonus was super deserved, and thank you for that reporter that threw Dana the lob so they could go ahead and get those bonuses. And I do love that. Some people were saying, oh, he should get a cut. No, I'm glad he came out and said, no, that's for him. Never would ask that, never would expect it, never would want it, because these fighters put their entire life on the line to be able to put these events on, and they should always be getting the lion's share. But I don't control that. I just think that that's the way it should go. But it is what it is. Let me know what you think about UFC 300, the possible matchups. Does Yuri get that rematch with Alex, even though Alex said he's not that interested in it? But we'll see if the UFC has other plans. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.